If your Flavorizer bars look like this, your burners probably need help as well. Stay tuned for this video. I'm going to show you how to replace your Flavorizer bars along with your burners on a Weber Spirit E-310, E-320, Spirit 700, Genesis Silver, and Weber 900. This grill is almost 20 years old. As you can see, those Flavorizer bars are original and they needed some help, and the burners are original as well. There's 3 burners on this specific unit. There's a piece that connects the 3 burners. It's a small metal tube with holes in it as well. As you can see, it's rusted away about halfway through. I'll show you how to replace all this with the new parts that I received from Amazon. This is not a paid advertising or anything like that. I purchased it with my own money, and I'm going to show you how it works. These burners are 28 inches wide and 12 3/4 deep. The package from Amazon came in this box, and the part number is 7537/7508. This is how it's packaged. This is stainless steel. Everything's wrapped in plastic and protected. This specific unit, this grill, has 5 Flavorizer bars, 3 burners, and then a small tube that connects the 3 burners together. What you see here is an airflow controller, and basically what that does, it helps you mitigate how much air you want passing through these burners. These Flavorizer bars seem to be of pretty decent quality along with the burners. It has a little bit of weight to it. I will link this in the description if you guys are interested in purchasing it. 2 of the burners have a hole at the bottom, and basically this hole allows you to connect that other pole to it. The only one that doesn't have a hole on the side is a center burner. The center burner would basically be cradled or held by the tube that goes across from one burner to the other. Be sure to pay attention to the burner that you use. This piece right here basically would connect to these 2 burners. That's how the setup would be. You have the burners facing sideways with the holes on the side, and then the center burner with the flames would be coming up towards the middle. Once again, what we're going to do here, we're going to go ahead and remove these rusty looking Flavorizer bars and expose the existing burners. Flavorizer bars basically help prevent any flare-ups, and also there's the technology behind it is to allow any drippings from whatever you're cooking to sizzle off and put flavor back into your food. What you see here is the 3 burners, and these 3 burners are the parts we need to remove. Since that smaller burner, which is a part that connects each burner together, is disintegrated, or half of it is disintegrated, the middle burner will be pretty easy to remove. I could just pull it out. I will have to remove a screw on the end, and then I'll have to remove the mechanism that it's attached to where the gas flows through. That's where your knob's attached to. So the way you position these burners is like you see here. Those notches line up with the screw holes, so there's nothing about this specific unit that I would complain about. If you notice, I'm using a drill bit to try to drill out the screw. So unfortunately these screws were rusted and corroded. The screw that I originally did, I wish I would have videoed that because that was so easy and smooth to remove. This one on the back side is very difficult to remove, so I took quite a bit of time trying to drill it out. It does help if you have newer drill bits or drill bits that are better with metal. Be prepared for that if you think you may have some rust issues. But I did eventually drill it all out, but it wasn't a fun task. This is how the other one came out. I just drilled right through it and it came out so easy. I got a little flathead screwdriver and a hammer, tapped it, and the whole head came off. The other side was very difficult to do. Now there's this bracket that holds the burners in place, and we got to remove that. So there's a few little steps we need to take. This is the first time I'm doing it, so as I'm videoing the whole process, I'm learning at the same time. So this is not something I've done before. First thing I'm gonna do is remove the nuts that are on there. There's only 2 of them, so just back those up. If you do have an extension piece for your drill, use it so you don't have to kind of squeeze in there with your drill, because you almost feel like you got to force it in there because of the angle, but it still worked. But if you do have an extension, it'll be a little easier. So you're gonna remove both nuts on each side. From that point, you would think you could pull that off, but you can't. You would think it's easy because the fact is those nuts are out, but it's not going to come out that easy because there's 2 other pieces that are holding that bracket in, and they just hook into the frame of the grill. The next step is to remove those metal pieces there. And all you do to remove that is basically just kind of grab it and unhook it from the hole. Once that step is done, you would think you could pull that off, but you still can't pull it off. And the reason why you can't pull it off is because you got the knobs that are coming through those holes that are still holding that in place. So just pull those knobs out, whether you have 3 or 2 or whatever, just pull them out, and then now that would fully free up that whole piece and it'll come out nice and easy. When you take that out, just be careful not to hang it on the wire like I did, because you don't want to damage anything. It did unplug one of the wires, and I'll show you what I did to basically prevent it from hanging on the actual wire. Those burners just pull right out nice and easy. As you can see at the end, you might have to twist it just to get it through. They just come out nice and easy, no fighting with it. I took that metal piece, that little hook, and I just hung it onto the metal frame so it's not putting all the tension on the wire. And the wire that got unplugged, I just plugged it back in so I don't forget to do it later. This is the inside of the grill. This is a section that I needed to drill out. So ideally we want to make sure the hole is nice and clear so we could put a new screw in there. If for some reason the hole is bigger than what the screw is, you might have to do some manipulating by maybe putting a piece of metal in there or whatever. I put a little copper in there because the hole ended up being bigger than what I needed, but that is a minor hiccup. If your grill is dirty or there's anything you want to do, if you want to take it outside, spray it down and scrub it, you could do that. I didn't do it. I just scraped it. I scraped up all the built up stuff, and then that's it. I didn't take it outside to spray it down or anything like that. This piece you could adjust. You just use a screwdriver, you back out the screw a little bit, and you just twist it. I put it at the full capacity because that's how the original burners were. If you notice there's an issue with the way your flame is, then you could adjust that to allow more or less air to go through. So the first thing you got to do when you're ready to install it is just pick the right one, just stick it through the hole. Just make sure you got the right one with the hole facing the right way and the notch for the screw is on the right side. There's no specific order you need to do this in. Just make sure you just have the front burner and the back burner facing the right way. So if you notice that hole is facing up, but that's fine because we're going to turn it. Go ahead and put that center burner in, and then you're going to go ahead and put your last burner in. Whether you're working front to back or back to front, it doesn't matter. Put it in there, and when you look inside, you're going to notice your burners are facing whatever way you put them in there. Make sure that notch lines up with the hole that's available, and just make sure the hole is facing towards the back for the burner that's closest to you. This one, the holes are always going to face up because that's the only way you could really put it. I wouldn't face it down. For sure you have to face it up. And this is how everything is looking so far. We're going to go ahead and insert the smaller tube. I call it a tube burner, a small tube burner. I don't know what it is, but all I know is it just connects all the gas together and the flames, and that's what helps ignite all the other burners, because this specific burner has a ignition spark that is closest to the front burner. So if these were not connected, you wouldn't be able to light all the other burners at the same time. So that hole lines up with the notch that's on the end there, and now we're gonna insert this burner the right way. We're gonna go ahead and insert this screw in the hole. Go ahead and tighten it down. Make sure everything's secure. We're gonna take the center burner. We're just gonna insert it in a slit, and there's like a little dimple on the actual burner, and it's gonna line up with that little notch dimple on there, if that's what the proper terminology is. So that's all installed. That's pretty simple in this aspect. Like I said, the most difficult part about this is if you have any rusty screws that you gotta drill out. And in this part, you're going to just reverse what you did before. So you're going to basically make sure you're lining up the holes for the bracket, but you also don't want to forget to line up the 3 holes to the burners as well. So I'm going to line up those parts that go into the burners, make sure they're all lined up properly. And then once I see they're all lined up good, at that point, I'll go ahead and make sure that the bracket is properly secured. This might be a little easier to do maybe before you even tighten down the actual burners, but I didn't really struggle with it too much. I lined up the holes, and then I made sure I lined up the other holes for the bracket, and everything's good to go. As you can see, everything's in place. Now we're gonna put the nuts back on. Put your washer on first and then your nut, and you're gonna do that on both sides. Now we're gonna take this little metal piece with the hook on the end, and we're gonna go and insert it in the hole that it came out of. And we're gonna repeat the process on the other side. The next step is to tighten those all down, and another piece of paint chipped off of that. Overall, this grill has been in pretty good shape. I've mentioned this before, it's probably almost 20 years old, or at least 20 years old, and there's a little bit of rust here and there, but it's not a rust that has penetrated fully. So those are spots that if I want, I could go ahead and kind of sand down and add a little little bit of paint to it. Go ahead and insert your knobs. They can only go one way because there's a flat side to them. If you notice, it's round and then flat with like almost like a T. So you just go ahead and insert them. It's kind of like a mushroom. It looks like a mushroom. That part is all installed. Now everything's installed, and the next step is to test it. So let's go ahead and turn the knobs on, and we're gonna hit the button. My igniter, the part that ignites, that gives me the spark, is rusted out, so I don't know if it's giving me a problem. It does have a spark, it just doesn't work that like it should. So what I did do in the beginning, I just got a lighter, like a candle lighter, and I just used that in the beginning. Later on, I did try the spark and it did work, but it's not working as it should. So you can see there's that spark there. There it goes. So all those lit up, but the center, if you notice, is no fire yet. I just think this happened because it just took some time for it to for the gas to flow to it, and I was trying to use a lighter as well, and it just didn't seem to want to pick up the fuel. But eventually it did actually start lighting, and it lights up fine. It's just the fuel needs to run through the lines. There you go. Now you got the flame in the middle, so everything just works perfectly. And I tested it a few more times after the fact. That middle burner did light up nicely. Here's an image of how it looks installed. Everything looks really good. Basically like a new grill. Now we're going to insert these Flavorizer bars. Just make sure you have them right. If you notice, I have them on the wrong spot, so you got to adjust them and make sure they're not in between. So if you notice you got that piece there, the end doesn't go in there, it goes on the side of that. So just insert all your Flavorizer bars the same way. Don't forget to take off all the plastic from any materials you put in there. Make sure all the plastic is off. And I would highly recommend to do a burn off. So don't just put this all together and then try to start cooking on it. Put on full blast and burn off for at least 20-30 minutes. Keep in mind that the burn off is gonna smell bad. So make sure you got a well ventilated area. Either put the grill fully outside, which I wish I would have done that because I had it on the lanai. Burn all the oils that are on there off, and then you're good to go. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, share. If you are interested in this product, you'll find the link in the description, and you'll also find a link to my Etsy store where you can see some merch that I sell, just random graphic tees and stuff like that. Check that out, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I'll do my best to respond. Thanks. Stay tuned for the next video.